another great big sneeze. Achoo! Oh yes, and there's more snot going everywhere. We're swimming in a river of snot. And what's that? Oh, you can see a beast up ahead. Can you really? What is it? Oh yes, I can see it as well. Oh, look out, Stinky. It's Godzilla. Oh my lord, he's come out of the river of snot. Look at him. He's growling and his teeth are gnashing. Yes, oh, now you're riding Godzilla. Oh, look out, Stinky. Oh yes, oh, he's gone back down there into the river of snot. Oh, it's the Poppets. Oh, so it is. Well, hello, Storytime Adventurers, one and all, and welcome back to Storytime Adventures with Mrs. Wiffle, Waffle and friends. That's right. What's that, Stinky? Who are our friends? Well, you're my Storytime friend, and of course all the Poppets out there watching, they're Storytime Adventurers as well. Well, Poppets' mums and dads, we were having a wonderful game. Stinky and I were pretending that we were in a river of snot floating down in the snot currents, and as we were floating down, we saw Godzilla and Stinky was riding him, weren't you? And yes, it was very hard to keep on Godzilla. Yes, well, he's quite a beast, I have to say. And Stinky, that was a lot of fun, although I'm glad there's no such thing as a snot river, because I think that would be quite gruesome indeed if that were true. Well, mums and dads, Poppets of course, speaking of snot and boogies and all things green, today's story is called Snot My Day. And thank you, Stinky dear. Yes, we're having a wonderful time. All our games today have been about snot. Yes, runny noses and snot everywhere. And this does look like a good one, I have to say. Yes, this boy on the cover there, I think, has a rather nasty cold. A very, very bad cold indeed. And here we go, my dear ones. Robbie is a grubby boy with dirt upon his knees. He doesn't clean his teeth or use a hanky for a sneeze. Oh, good Lord. He burps out loud in public and flicks boogies at his dad. His habits are disgusting, Stinky, and it makes his family rather sad. Well, my dear Poppets, there's Robbie there, and he's quite a disgusting boy. He has snot pouring out of his nose, and he flicks boogies at his dad. What a dreadful boy. Yes, I can't believe that he does that. Poor old dad. Fancy flicking snot at dad there, and he's got a hot cup of tea as well, and he doesn't look very impressed at all. Really, Robbie, wipe your nose. It's making us feel sick. Yes, it's making me feel quite nauseous, I have to say. But Robbie doesn't listen. He just gives his lips a lick. Snot dribbles down his dirty face like melting candle wax, Stinky. Oh, yes, that's dreadful. It mixes with his cornflakes and trickles on his snacks. Well, there's Robbie there, sitting at the breakfast table with Mum and Dad and his sister there as well. And his nose is just so runny, it's absolutely pouring with snot. It's going all over his cereal and it even trickles on his snacks. And Robbie just doesn't seem to care. Even though it's making everyone else in his family feel quite ill, at the sight of it, Dad looks rather cross and Mum's disgusted there. He just doesn't care. No, he doesn't. His mummy sends him off to school with tissues for his nose, but Robbie doesn't use them. He just wipes it on his clothes. What's that? You think that's gross? Yes, that is gross. His sleeve has shiny markings like a snail has crawled along, Stinky. Robbie doesn't care at all. He can't see how it is wrong. Well, there is Robbie there, my dear ones. And instead of using a hanky or a tissue, he just uses his clothes to wipe his nose on the sleeve of his shirt. And then he has snot all over his sleeve. That is quite disgusting, I have to say. Oh dear, I wonder what the other children think of Robbie. Yes, there's a boy looking there. He doesn't look very impressed at all. Achoo! His school friends are disgusted. Yes, I thought they might. They don't want to be mean, but no one wants to get too close to someone, Stinky. So unclean. Then Robbie gets a cold one day and his nose becomes more runny. The green slime trickles down his face, but Stinky, he just thinks, It's funny. Yes, he does. He just thinks it's funny. So he has a runny nose, snot is flying everywhere, and Robbie just laughs and laughs and laughs. He thinks it's very funny indeed. How dreadful. Well, I wonder how long this is going to go on for. Will he ever, my dear poppets, wipe his nose? I just don't know. His teacher sends him home to bed, yes, because he's got a cold. As the snot begins to drool, Mummy tucks his sheets in. The mucus forms a pool, I should say. Yes, the mucus. Oh, how disgusting. She puts a bucket on the floor. If you won't use a hanky, we'll have to catch it somewhere, or your room will get so manky. Oh yes, mucus and a manky room. How dreadful. Well, they've got a bucket there to try and catch the mucus, try and catch all of that snot, because it's just pouring out and going absolutely everywhere. Oh dear, how dreadful. Oh, I hope he gets better. Otherwise it's just going to run and run and run. His nose is not going to stop running. Robbie reads his magazine and then drifts off to sleep, Stinky. But his nose just keeps on running and the snot begins to creep. Along the floor, Stinky, and out the door, it trickles down the stairs into the lounge and kitchen, where it picks up all the chairs. Oh, it's a river of snot. What's that? Where's Godzilla? Well, who knows? Perhaps Godzilla might appear somewhere. Well, there's the snot there, my dear poppets, and of course, mums and dads, check out all of that mucus there, all of that wonderful green snot, and it has now formed a rather disgusting river. Imagine going for a boat ride in that. Yes, racing the rapids of snot, how simply marvellous, but of course, rather disgusting. Oh yes, nothing like a green river of snot. Well, I wonder what's going to happen next. It oozes through the cat flap, oh dear, the poor cat, and down the road it goes. The cat won't be able to get back in, Stinky, sweeping up small creatures as on and on it flows. The snot wave surges through the park, startling all the ducks. It steadily grows higher as it covers passing trucks. Well, there's the ducks there, and it's startling the ducks, my dear poppets. They're terrified of the river of snot there, and they don't know what to make of it. Very, very gross indeed. And the river just keeps going on and on and on. Oh, yes. Someone needs to come to the rescue, I think, and there's cats there as well on some looks like a pool float there. And what sort of animal's that? Oh, it's a dog on a chair. Yes, he's not very happy either. Mr. Hughes is worried. He searches for his boat. It hasn't been used in ages, Stinky, but he hopes it stays afloat. He rides the waves of gloopy green and paddles into town. He wants to stage a rescue so that nobody will drown. Well, there he is there, and at least he's trying to do something, I suppose. But how on earth are they going to get rid of this dreadful river of snot? I just don't know. What on earth are they going to do? Dreadful business. Mum looks out and gives a scream. It's Mrs. Yale from number 4. Dad paddles down the hallway and pulls hard, Stinky, upon the door. He tugs and tugs, but it's no use. The door is firmly stuck. I can't get out, he hollers. It's glued tight with this stuff. Yuck! Well, there's Dad there, trying to open the door, of course, with all of his might, and he is not having any luck at all. I think perhaps they're going to be trapped inside the house because of all of that snot. Oh dear, how on earth are they ever going to get out of there? I do not know. The family don't know what to do. No, they don't. They move upstairs in fright. I'll search in Boogle, that might help. Hey look, I found a site. Oh, Boogle instead of Google. I do like that. They dial up emergencies. We have a dire situation, Stinky. A tidal wave of mucus is threatening the nation. Oh, it's threatening the nation. Well, look at that. So they've gone onto the internet to try and find out someone, or find somebody, I should say, who can help this family because of this terrible situation that they are in. Yes, perhaps they'll find someone who can help. I certainly hope so. Yes, they need someone to help. Oh yes, there's even Snot on the computer as well. The voice stays calm. They handle this and send out their best team. They'll assess the situation, Stinky, for it does sound quite extreme. Soon there's a thrumming in the air. They look and see a chopper. It's the Special Forces unit, an airborne boogie stopper. Well, there's a helicopter there as it comes flying by, and perhaps they will be able to save the day. I don't know how they're going to stop all of this Snot, but at least someone has come to the rescue. Let's hope that they can do something about this dreadful situation. Yes, I just don't know how they're going to fix it though. That's the thing. I guess we'll soon find out. The helicopter hovers high above with tissues at the ready, Stinky. They'll drop them into Robbie's house as the pilot holds her steady. Then someone yells, "Look out below," and the crew begin to curse. Oh yes, they're cursing. How dreadful. If things looked bad when they arrived, now, Stinky, they've just got worse. What's that? There's a monster there. Yes, there's a boogie monster there. He does look fierce. No Godzilla, but a boogie monster. Yes, he looks very threatening, I have to say. Very, very cross and quite scary. Just when we thought things couldn't get any worse. What on earth is going to happen now? Screams and yells pass through the town as people start to shake. Oh yes, this is more than just a tidal wave. It's a monster boogie quake. Oh yes it is. Let's do it, team. The pilot roars. We have to stop this beast, Stinky. He pulls down on a lever and the tissues are released. Well, there's the helicopter there, and they've got a massive pile of tissues there, quite a large pile, and they're going to drop those tissues onto that terrible monster there, and perhaps that will soak up all the Snot. I think that's the idea. Fingers and toes crossed, my dear poppets, that it works. Oh yes, I certainly hope so. Yes, let's hope it works. Gotcha! Howler's Robbie! Oh, he's howling, yes. And he sits up in his bed. Mummy wipes his sweaty face and puts a cold cloth, Stinky, on his head. Poor darling boy, it's just a dream. It's going to be all right. Your cold gave you a fever and dreadful dreams, Stinky, all night. What's that? Did the boy have nightmares? Yes, he did have nightmares, Robbie did. He had a fever, and while he's been asleep for quite a while, and while he was sleeping, he was having terrible dreams. Terrible dreams about Snot. Oh yes. Although perhaps he's starting to feel a little bit better now. Let's hope so. Now Robbie's cold has disappeared and his nose is not so runny. Best of all, he's cleaner now. Yes, he does look very handsome, doesn't he? Yes, nice and clean. And no longer thinks it's funny to sneeze and cough and let germs spread, for here's what Robbie knows. A habit that gets out of hand just grows and grows and grows. Well, there's Robbie there, and he looks like a different boy, my dear poppets. I have to say, his hair is brushed, he's lovely and clean, the lovely sweater on there, a wonderfully clean face, and of course, Robbie no longer has a snotty nose, which is simply marvellous. Yes, his cold has gone away. The end! And that was called Snot My Day. A very, very cool book, I have to say, and I particularly liked this one very, very much. Oh yes, Snot My Day. Although, my dear poppets, I have to say I'm glad there's no such thing, really, as a snot river. What do you think, Stinky? Do you really wish there was a snot river? It would be a little bit exciting. Yes, it would be. What's that? Perhaps we'd see the woman on the magic school bus. Well, you never know. It sounds like the sort of place where she turned up. She's quite mad, that lady. I do like someone who's a little bit bonkers. Anyway, dear poppets, mums and dads, we have come to the end of story time once again. thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that book, Snot My Day. Perhaps you could pretend to be swimming in a river of snot, or perhaps you could pretend to be fighting Godzilla. And as always, my dear ones, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, bye.